Milky Way. Believe it or not, I don't know what I did with that, but we're trying something new here. We are doing StreamYard tonight. Believe it or not, look at this. See, StreamYard, live with StreamYard. And we're going to try lots of things, everyone. We're going to wing it here tonight. Of course, like always, I don't know what I'm doing on this, so we are winging it. And, of course, I got my wonderful friend, David Castle, as my co-host tonight. So thank you for coming, David.
Thanks for the invite. Right. Great to be here with everybody in the energy tonight.
That's right. We're going to see how this goes because you have had problems with StreamYard, and I really haven't done StreamYard. A lot of times I've done StreamYard on a few sites, and then I get buffered too. So who knows? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, and I'm giving it a whirl because this might be a really good thing, and it might not. Let's see, background, leave background, show. What is this? There are all kinds of things here, man. Oh, wow. We got color, we got bubble, classic, minimal. Geez. We're going to just play around with this stuff. But anyway, tonight we are going to, this is so cool. I got the thing. I just wish I knew how to do the comments. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, maybe not. When we ain't live, of course, tonight we are recording this ahead of time for all you wonderful people out there who haven't been here before. Sometimes I get busy and sometimes we work. I'm working, so then I'm going to be putting this up while I'm working. So getting down to the brass tacks of things, we're going to go over this book here, which you guys have all liked so much. This is David Paulides. And puts out these books, 411 Missing. This is the Montana series. We're going to go through some of these stories, comment on them. Now, remember, if you want these books, go to David Paulides' website, Canam Missing, and you can look that up. The description will be in the thing below. And you just go right ahead, click there, go to his website, buy his book. Right from him. Don't buy it from Amazon. Give him, it's cheaper to buy it from him. And then when you get done reading the book, give it to somebody else or donate it to your local library. And that's the best thing to do. I try to gift them to other people because, a lot of times people, it's the sharing, people enjoy different books. And if you've enjoyed it, maybe they will enjoy it too, especially if you surround yourself with people who are the frequency that you are. That is a good thing. So, what do you think of all the missing people?
Well, first of all, I was going to say planting seeds by giving somebody else that book. That might help them and send them upon their path. And not every seed that you plant, will harvest, but the ones that you do, I mean, you're actually helping these people out a whole lot. So I agree and resonate totally with you. Say, share the books. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. See, now there I'm buffering. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, well, on my screen, looks like I'm buffering. So there we go. Like I said, we're just playing around with this. Who knows? Yeah. This might actually. Oh, wait a minute. I did something wrong there.
Yeah. Huh. All you can do is laugh because they want to frustrate you and everything, and don't give them the satisfaction. Just laugh. When it doesn't work, you'll learn how to do it.
I know. It's just, it's so funny, because you're trying to figure this out, and you don't know what you're really doing. And now I'm stopped, and this is not how Zoom works. So maybe it's my internet frequency deal. I don't know. So we're just gonna wing it here. As long as you can hear me, it must be recording. So we're gonna go with that. It will keep up. You just give me a holler. Great. Okay, give me a holler if if you
you
can't hear
start
me.
breaking up or anything, if you start breaking up real bad or anything, I'll kind of try to get your attention.
Yeah, I noticed like you're a little bit slow moving too, kind of frozen here and there, but you keep now you're frozen altogether. Oh, there you go. You're back and forth, back and forth. So anyway, we're just gonna hopefully we don't pick the same stories. You know, I'm gonna have to mark some of these because we read through some of these before, and I just paged through them, and all the stories here are really, really good. Remember that David Paulides was he's been doing this for many, many years. He has 10 years, National Park Service, 10 years of research has revealed that National Park Service in the United States Forces proclaim they do not have any list of missing people. These organizations are large branches where their offices have gone through advanced training, sometimes more than local law enforcement and sheriffs. The departments understand the value of maintaining lists that can be viewed by the National Parks website. They maintain a list of movies filmed on their properties. Yes, lists of all are essential. When we are asked for the National Park Service to produce a list of missing people, they told us it would cost us $1,400,000. Oh, boy. So, you know, poo-poo on the National Park Service if they can't share that information.
Do they take a check? Can you write them a check?
Yeah, I wonder what they would have said if he says, okay, just, you know, will you take a check, money order, or whatever? So David Paulides, he was on everything. He did SWAT team. It says here he did research victims. He's done it all. I got to hand it out to him. He puts in a lot of work. So just for that, we're just going to highlight a few of these things. In these cases, nearly 99% of the cases, he's documented bloodhounds brought to the point where the victim was last seen cannot find a scent. Interesting in tracking or seems oblivious to smell. So that's a factor. Remember, weather is a factor. In most cases, highlighted in the 9 books, the weather has been a significant impactor on the rescue or recovery of the victim. The weather seems to take a turn for the worse just as the person has gone missing. Or just after they disappeared. Lousy weather includes blizzards, fog, rain, snow, hail, dust storms, extremely cold, and hot temperatures. So there you go. Victims in areas previously searched. A lot of victims are found in previously searched areas. They have missing clothes or shoes, especially the shoes. The time of a disappearance. The vast majority of disappearances occur often in the late afternoon or early evening. In Missing 411 off the grid, there is a table on page 358 that shows the cumulative data from 7 books. The predominant disappearance time occurs is just before it gets dark, and that fact hasn't changed. Okay, another one, disability or illness. An abnormal number of missing have usually disabilities or an illness. In fact, shows itself after vetting thousands of cases. Many readers have stated that it appears to them as someone or something is closely monitoring these people and wants to understand more about their genetic markers. Okay, here's another thing, lack of memory. The people usually, it's rare when a victim is found. It's extremely rare when they are found alive. In an instance where a victim can talk and be questioned, the vast majority cannot remember how they got lost or what happened while they were missing. In almost every instance where the victim is found alive, the searchers and law enforcement rarely sit with them and debrief them about the experience. The effort may be futile as the victim's memories may be blank. What do you say to that? How does your memory turn blank? You know, I mean, amnesia. You got lost and you got amnesia. You forgot all about it the whole time, and then when you get back, you go, "Yeah, I was talking to Joe," and the next thing you know, here I am.
Kind of reminds me of the Vulcan mind trick or something like that, isn't that what Spock used to do? White people.
Yes, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, victims are missing are often found near creeks, rivers, ponds, lakes, and streams. So that's something to think about. Boulder, I'm just giving everybody the go around. Boulders and granite, the most significant cluster of missing people anywhere globally, that matches our criteria is Yosemite National Park. Yosemite happens to be one of those locations in the world that has a high concentration of granite. There are many people documented in our books that are found in boulders, fields, almost amongst the boulders and large rocks. Interesting. Why boulders and rock? But granite. Now we study a lot on crystals. Why would there be, granite has a lot of crystals in it, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And, I mean, maybe the energy through there or something. I mean, it just makes you wonder, because we know crystals are very powerful. And if you accumulate those crystals in a significant area, then, could be interesting what happens. I mean, the energy, just the energy alone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Swamps and bogs. Some readers will find that missing people are located in the middle of swamps, bogs, and highly unusual places to discover people. Religion. This is the newest profile point that we have added to our list. Readers may have to ask the past person strongly religious. Knock, knock, knock. Point of separation. This is a good one. Although this is one of our newest profile points, it is something that we identified several years ago. I want readers to have an awareness of that. Two people decided to part company. I've always claimed that a hiker traveling alone in the mountains will probably be more safely conscious than someone traveling with a group, so forth and so on. So people get separated, and as they get separated, that's when they lose track of them and they disappear. Equipment malfunctions. In documenting hundreds of missing people, you will eventually read about their air support. With all SARS, there are high numbers of engine and equipment issues associated with SARS. I think the facts surrounding the equipment issue are essential, and I add to it again. Yeah, SARS is that radar stuff that they use to find people, like, heat stuff or something. I'm not sure exactly. I have to look it up. Let's see. Cluster maps. He makes cluster maps. And then he has a thing in here that lists people by the. Oh, you can't see that. Am I still frozen on your screen?
Yes, you're frozen.
Oh man, this is almost bothering me, man. I tell you, I've never thought that something like that would bother me so much as being frozen.
It's okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna end my thing and see here. Let's see if I can. And I'm still frozen.
Yes.
Well, oh well. At least my voice is there. Okay, I am gonna pick one here, and we're gonna go with it. Hopefully I didn't read it on the last one. So far, you're doing pretty good, and you thought you were going to be the guy froze up.
Oh yeah, I freeze up every time in SteamYard. I've never got through a hole with it before ever.
Oh, well, you're
normally
still
within the first 5 minutes.
Oh wow, you're still moving and talking, but not like really good, but still, maybe I had my things set up too much. I don't know.
I hope it does work. I mean, I like it. The graphics and everything look fantastic.
Yeah. That's
you can put banners across the bottom and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Look at my nice little banner. I like it. Let's see, example banners. I wonder if you could do different ones. Banners. Oh, minimal. Oh, look at that. I can even change it. Or a bubble one. Ooh, look at that. That's kind of cool. The banner thing's working.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, we'll go with that one. It's smaller. It says here, having issues. Oh, well, I'm just... Oh, yeah. Okay. Having issues, chat with us. Well, I'm in the middle of something. I don't want to chat. What do they think? Let's see.
Oh,
What if I do this? Hang on. Here we go. I'm going to try something. Oh, that ain't working. Remove. Oh. I'm still frozen. Dang it.
yeah.
Oh, well. We're just going to keep going with it. You know, it might be one of those things that just doesn't work, you know, just doesn't work. We're going to go with Annie Brown. Okay. Annie Brown. She was missing June 4th, 1921 at 3 p.m. at Washoe. Age of disappearance was 4 years old. Water and point of separation. This disappearance location was Washoe, Montana, 2 miles west of Red Lodge, 12 miles north of Wyoming border. The small city was a thriving mining location near the start of the 20th century in 1907. The Washoe Coal Mine or Coal Company was created, and they started digging the coal mine. The town did well until the worst mining disaster in Montana history happened on February of 1943 with the Smith mining disaster. An explosion of the Smith mine, number 3, it killed 74 men. Later is a large memorial on site of the tragedy. On June 4th, 1921, the Brown family lived in Washoe, and Annie was with other kids picking wildflowers. You know, somehow or another, I think I read this one once before. But we'll keep on. And approximately at 1 p.m., Miss Brown went to look for her daughter and failed to locate her. This June 11th, 1921 article in the Billings Gazette explained the circumstances of the disappearance. Mystery surrounds the disappearance of Annie Brown and the 4-year-old daughter of Mrs. George Brown of Washoe, who was last seen at her home Saturday afternoon at about 1 o'clock. When she left the house to join other children in picking flowers on the hillside, Annie got out of sight of the other children and somehow vanished. It was 3 p.m. that Mrs. Brown sounded the alarm and asked for assistance to look for her daughter. It was first feared that Annie might have fallen into the nearby creek. As darkness fell, the searchers concentrated on land and then committed resources to scanning the stream the following day. 2 days after the disappearance, a report came to town that someone saw the young girl walking the hillside outside of the city. The entire city and mine shut down, committed 300 men to scour all the mountain in the area for several days. Nothing was found. Many people in town did not believe the girl fell into the creek based on her last location on the hillside. The hill location would have matched the point that another person saw her in the hills. Dozens of people searched the creek countless of times and never found Annie. Hundreds of men committed days to explore the mountain over and over again, finding nothing. Annie Brown disappeared in a cluster zone of 5 people, 3 females, 2 men. Three females are an unusual tight grouping of just females. So there you go. What do you think of that? Little girl just up and disappears and then randomly is seen later, but then nobody can find her after How far can a 4-year-old girl go?
I find it really, really strange, Robert V. This little girl was 4 years old, and her mom just let her go play with other kids on a hill picking flowers. I know it was probably a different time then when maybe not as much of strange stuff happened like that, but I think that's awful young for a 4-year-old for her to let her run out like that.
Yeah, but 1921, there was no serial killers running around. There was no cars really to speak of. They probably had a lot of horses and buggies. Maybe a few cars. I shouldn't say no cars, but there was probably a few cars, but for the most part, people are just good, decent people. Remember, even in my era, back in the day, parents just let their kids run around and go to the playgrounds, and they didn't watch them, or nothing, and nothing happened.
Either that or they were better at not getting caught.
Yeah, well, there was nobody to catch them because nobody was saying, "Oh my God, where's your parents?" "Oh, well, they're at home. Right. I'm at the playground." They were just like, "Oh, well, okay, good."
Yeah, I can see. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you have a 4-year-old and it's got kids, I mean, let them go play for what, 30, 45 minutes outside. But I'm sure most parents, if it's 4-year-old, you'd be checking on it every now and then. Every 10 or 15 minutes, you'd be, looking to see, make sure your 4-year-old's okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to do this guy here. Well, right next to it. And here's another one. 1921. His name is William Smize. Missing October 29th, 1921 at 2 p.m. in Castor Cooley. Age of disappearance. Now, this guy's 35 years old. I don't think his mother's watching him. Disability, water, and illness. Castor Cooley is a small rural area 12 miles southwest of Great Falls on the Missouri River, south side. The land in this area was and is still predominantly flat farms. In October of 1921, David Smize was the owner of a large farm in Castor Cooley and was well known in the greater Great Falls region. David had a 35-year-old son, William, who was in the Army and stationed at Camp Lewis. When he came down with a severe pneumonia attack, the illness was so intense that the Army sent William home. The exact date that he was discharged was never made clear. The Smize Ranch was adjacent to the Missouri River and several small creeks. This October 31st, 1921 article in the Great Falls Tribune explained what happened on the Smize property. According to the missing man's father, son left home about 2 p.m. Saturday and has not been seen since. The sheriff stated that the missing man had been sick for some time and was evidently delirious. Mr. Gordon is is of his opinion that Smize had wandered off from some farmhouse where he is unknown. It wasn't long before Smize news reached Great Falls and reports started coming in that he had been seen in the city. There was also reports coming in from remote sheep herders saying that they saw the man wandering through their lands. Reports came from far and wide. The disappearance of William Smize fell into the jurisdiction of Cascade County Sheriff Bob Gordon. The formal search started October 31st with the sheriff assigned 50 people to comb the grounds of the Smize property banks of the Missouri River and the creek in the region. There were rumors of footprints were found on the banks of streams. There were never confirmed to be anything related to SAR. Creeks and rivers during this time of year are shallow, making the search much more manageable. Deputies were sent into distant fields to speak with sheep herders. Law enforcement found that these sheep herders' reports of seeing William were not credible, as SAR teams were search and rescue. That's what it is. SAR is a search and rescue. Were finding nothing on land. They started to turn to their efforts elsewhere. As the headlines implied on November 2nd, 1921 edition of the Great Falls Tribune, dragged streams in search of William Smize. The article goes on to say the third day of the search, William Smize of Castor Cooley, who had left his home of his father Saturday afternoon, has not been seen since, only served to add to the mystery of the disappearance. Sheriff Bob Gordon, who headed the new searching party, organized Tuesday morning, and Deputy Sheriff C.S. Dennis returned Tuesday night with a report that no clues leading to his whereabouts had been found. The search for William went on for 8 days. The deputies dragged rivers, creeks for the body, and nothing was found. They put locals on horseback and covered the countryside and could not locate anyone who had confirmed sighting of the sick man. There were few credible answers to what happened to William Smize, although not probable. It is possible that he fell into the river or creek and got washed away. Doubtful. William knew this area like your backyard, and he knew where the dangers were located. Knowing what William was seriously ill and with pneumonia makes the thought of him walking miles across the farmland seem highly unlikely. Well, there you go. I hope we didn't read that one last time we did the show. So anyway, but that's true. When you're sick, have you ever had pneumonia?
Yes.
Do you feel like walking?
Not a whole lot. No, you don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna do much. Yeah, that's what I say. You're not gonna do a whole lot. Let's see here. That's what I think. I don't think you're gonna do much. I don't think that guy got up and just walked
Right.
away. I mean, if you're
And,
sick,
yeah, you wouldn't do a lot of hiking because your lungs are full of mucus, and that's when it gets down in your lungs. That's what causes the pneumonia. So, yeah, you're not going to be wanting to say, "Hey, let's go on a hike."
that's right.
You know,
That's absolutely right. Let's see what else is there. Well, there was a lot of streams, but the water's low. And I've been to Montana in that area, and when you're talking the water's low, you're talking maybe a foot of water in the streams. Sometimes a little bit more, but a lot of those streams are really low. If you fell down in the river, it's probably not going to wash you away, and you could walk through it. I mean, you'd literally have to drag yourself to the bottom and cover yourself with rocks in order to drown yourself.
absolutely. And they have bears in Montana, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. I mean, he could have got eat.
Yeah. But then they would have found some blood. They would have found some of his clothes. They would have, you know what I'm saying? They would have found some hair, because eventually what goes in a bear comes out the other end on a bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be broken down though, and I think most of them would be looking for a body. I don't think, like, if you're walking 10 or 15 feet away and you don't actually see a body, I don't think you're going to see blood for 10 or 15 feet away. You know what I mean? So it would be a lot harder. I just think it's one of the options and possibilities that it could be.
Well, that, and the fact that if you got a bear eats you, he's not going to eat every bit of you. I mean, how hard it is to crush your skull up and then chew it up, or your leg bone or something. They might gnaw on it and stuff, but still, it's just a thought. Okay, we're gonna go with this one here. This is another 4-year-old, 1921. Here's a guy. He was 29 years old. We're going to do this one. Joseph Whitehead, 29 years old. William Whitehead, 22 years old. Missing August 24th, 1924 in Glacier National Park Cluster Zone. No tracks. See Cluster Chapter under Glacier National Park for details. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that one didn't go anywhere. Okay. And it goes to the next story, I guess. Alice. This lady is Alice. Okay, we're going to read Alice Pazzola. Pazzola. I guess it's Pazzola. Alice Pazzola. We'll go with that one. Missing June 7th, 1925 at 5 p.m. Walkerville. Age at disappearance 3 years old. In June of 1925, the Pazzola family owned the Stringtown Dairy, 5 miles north of Walkerville, which is just on Buttes north side. On June 7th, 1925, at approximately 5 p.m., Pazzola lost track of their 3-year-old daughter, Alice. They called her name, got ranch hands to search, and quickly got scared because she could not be found. Well, yeah, 3 years old. Again, where does a 3-year-old run to?
I don't know.
And when you call for them, they usually come because they know, I'm in trouble. Okay, Stringtown Dairy put out the word to the community that the young girl was missing and asked for volunteers to search. As the family understood what happened, they realized that Alice had disappeared with the family's 3-month-old puppy. So not only did she disappeared with the puppy. If you are a new reader, this disappearance may seem mundane. It is not. In Missing 411 Eastern United States, David Paulides wrote about the series of children that vanished, many with their dog. Sometimes the canines were found alive, sometimes they were not. Searchers worked through the night looking and calling for Alice. Nobody saw or heard anything. June 10th, 1925 article in the Anaconda Standard had these details. Hugging her little doggie and not much that worse for wear, little Alice of Wonderland, 3-year-old daughter of Mr. and Mrs. C.C. Pazzola, who operated the Stringtown Dairy 5 miles north of Walkerville, was found yesterday afternoon trudging up Hall Columbia Gulch, nearly 6 miles over rugged timbered mountains from the ranch home she had wandered away from Sunday evening. The girl was found by a ranch hand who continued searching nonstop from the time she vanished. It probably is a good idea that the ranch hand was not trained in search and rescue, or he would have never have been in that location where Alice was found. SAR manuals state that 95% of all children Alice's age would be located 95% of the time in 2 miles or less from the point last seen. It is tough for me to believe that the 3-year-old girl would be walking up the gulch and carrying a puppy after being gone almost 24 hours without food and water. There is no doubt that the girl had to sleep during darkness, meaning she wasn't on her feet and moving the entire time she was missing. There was never any statement from the girl explaining what she did or where she went. There are three cases of only missing girls that I have documented that include Alice's case. All of the girls disappeared within 20-mile radius. This is the tightest geographical cluster of missing girls anywhere in the state of Montana. This is one of the tightest geographical clusters of missing girls anywhere in the world. All of the girls were found far outside the standard distance of a young person would travel, and all were lost in the forest environment. Well, there you go. Now, 3-year-old. How could a 3-year-old walk 6 miles? I mean, at least 3-year-olds nowadays are lazy as can be, and they don't want to go anywhere. Put it that way. I mean, come on. 3-year-old walk?
I think in the 1920s, Robert V., they should have had better parenting classes.
Well, yeah. I think maybe that's where parenting classes may come from. But
yeah.
If you live in the wilderness like that, you're not gonna be so worried. I mean, first off, what are you worried about? Except maybe a bear coming in and or a cougar or something like that. But even so, with all of that, you got to wonder about, kids were tougher then. They were tough. They were resilient. They were smart. They didn't have TV and radio to play around with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sure they were more active, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it still begs to differ. A 3-year-old going 6 miles with a puppy.
Right.
First off, I know puppies can go, but 6 miles, that puppy's going to turn around and look at you like, I'm hungry. What about
Absolutely.
The kid being gone for so many days? I mean, what kind of kid's going to start eating bark or, things off of trees to survive?
Absolutely.
And, I mean, how many kids did you ever see that play for a little bit and then look at you and say, I'm hungry. I want something to eat.
Yeah,
they
not
can't
going to
go very long.
Go that far. Yeah, they weren't going to go that very far away either.
Yeah.
But like you're right, this is a different time than it is back then. But I'm sure they still had like little stories every now and then. They told their kids to keep them close by and to make them scared of things. I'm sure they were still manipulating them.
Yes, I totally agree. Okay, let's pick another one. This time we're gonna go. We're gonna go with somebody really old. Okay, this one here happened in 1962. William Weller. William Weller. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Missing August 2nd, 1962. Hell Roaring Creek, Carbon County. age of at disappearance, he was 76 years old. He was German. He had an illness, a disability. He was picking berries, and there was bad weather. Yeah, okay. So that's the things he has in his bucket. It's unusual in this day and age to read, and this was in 1962, mind you. It's unusual in this day and age to read about someone that spent most of their entire adult life living alone in the wilderness. I think it would be difficult for the majority of us to understand living in a mountain cabin without insulation, no forced air heating, no electricity, no running water, no flush toilet, no phone, or internet, and living life off the grid. The person who this story is about lived a life exactly as I have just explained. From 1910 till almost 1961, William Weller lived alone in a remote cabin in the Beartooth Mountains of southern Montana. The Beartooth Mountains contain the Aberosca, yeah, I think that's Aberosca, Beartooth Wilderness, and the Custer, Shoshone, and Gatlin National Forests. I'm going to learn how to say all these crazy names one of these days. Gatlin National Forest. The mountains also have the largest mountain, in Montana, Granite Peak. These mountains produce many valuable minerals, including gold, silver, copper, lead, or the signature peak in the mountains is Beartooth Peak. Yes, it does look like a bear tooth sticking up out of the ground. William Weller was an unusual person in the 20th century. It was described in August 9th, 1962 edition of the Billings Gazette. Weller is a self-educated and loves to sing primarily old German folk songs. He was born in Germany on January 10th, 1886, and came to the United States when he was 14. He came to Montana via New York City, Omaha, Nebraska, and Wyoming about 1905. Shortly afterward, he obtained his homestead. The cabin is stated to have been ransacked by vandals after he left. From everything I read, William kept his German heritage close. As William was reaching the 1960s, it was reported that he had a stroke and started to have issues with his health. He decided to move out of his remote cabin and move into the Red Lodge. This move meant that William would no longer be making a living as he had for the last 50 years as a prospector. When he moved into town, he made several friends and continued to help others who came to him looking for assistance. One of the friends was William, was very close to, was Jimmy Joe. Jimmy had a cabin on Hell Roaring Creek, approximately 20 miles south of Red Lodge. William was approached by Mr. Joe, asking him if he could take care of his dog that was staying at his cabin. Jimmy stated that he would be gone for 2 days and requested William to go in and stay with the canine. Jimmy was leaving from Red Lodge on August 2nd and would return no later than Sunday, August 5th. In 1962, William had told Jimmy that he would walk into the cabin on Thursday, August 2nd. Jimmy returned to his homestead and found his dog had not been fed for days. He determined that William had never been to the cabin. Jimmy left immediately for Red Lodge to check on Weller. Mr. Joe determined that William wasn't home, realized that something had to be wrong with Weller, and contacted the sheriff. Now, see, that's one of those things. You know, he was going to take care of it. He was pretty avid kind of guy since he could walk to the cabin at 76 years old. I got to give him credit for that, man.
Absolutely. Good shape.
Yes, good shape. Those old timers, they can, back in the day, them people were tough as nails. Okay, the Carbon County Sheriff organized a team and hiked into Joe's cabin on Hell Roaring Creek on August 6th. And August 11, 1962 edition of the Billings Gazette had these details of the sheriff's search. About 25 to 30 Boy Scouts, forest rangers, and volunteers had been searching the area every day since contacted by Joe. Wednesday, a group which had been picking huckleberries in the vicinity said that they had seen Weller near the cabin a week ago, Thursday. He hasn't been seen since. The search team was pleased that they found a group that could confirm William was in the area of the cabin in the time frame he had stated he would arrive. The SAR group was also dismayed that they hadn't found the retired prospector. The SAR team also knew that William wore 2 sets of glasses because of his nearsightedness and stigmatism. SAR coordinators spoke to William's close friends and learned it was a consensus belief that William could not survive alone or long alone in the wilderness. The search had now rolled into August 13th, 11 days after William was last seen, and 7 days of intensive searching had taken place without finding anything. In the August 13th, 1962 edition of the Billings Gazette, there was this comment from law enforcement. Sheriff Otto S. Ford said Sunday he was sure the old mountain man had met some misfortune. Ford added that the search would go on, but probably not a full scale. He has little hope of finding the man alive. This was the last article that was ever written about the search for William Weller. I have a hard time believing that searchers would have found evidence of William being in the area. If there had been any predation, none was reported. He could not move well because of his stroke, so the idea that he walked out of the area is not prudent. William Weller was never found. So there you go. Another not so found kind of guy. He was old, decrepit, and yet he manages to disappear after picking some berries. Go figure. I just don't get it. What do you think?
I believe he something good happened to him. I don't think it was anything bad. Something good, and he went somewhere else where he fit in better.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
Yes, nothing bad happened to that man.
I like that idea. Put a positive spin on it. Absolutely. Well, because most time we're like, the aliens got him. Yeah. You know, Bigfoot or the monster beast from the Black Lagoon got him or something. You know, but I'm thinking, you know, if I was the monster beast or something like that, why wouldn't I take one of those little Boy Scouts that'd be tender and nice instead of an old, cranky old man probably that was 76 years old and was probably gnarly.
he was walking his way to the cabin to go feed the dog. And as he was walking through the woods, he came into a portal and he saw this portal and he was like, why not? Let's go into this portal. And he liked it so much there, he decided he was going to stay there. I like that. I like that one. I like that one a lot. I like that positive. He stepped into a portal and he's living a new life now. He's young and he's vibrant and he likes it there better. Higher frequency there. I agree. I'm going to go with that one. Okay, we're going to go with another one. This guy is 22 years old. He is not old and decrepit. Okay. His name is Timothy Shear. He was missing November 23rd, 1975. On Little Belt Mountains. Age at disappearance, 22 years. Factors, canines, weather, and a hunter. Okay. The Little Belt Mountains are located almost in Montana's geographical center, approximately 100 miles north of Bozeman. I've been to Bozeman before. The mountains reach elevations nearing 9,000 feet and are located in the Lewis and Clark National Forest. These are rugged and wild mountains and known for excellent hunting. The exact location of this incident was 25 to 300 miles northwest or northeast of White Sulphur Springs. Well, that's a pretty variant. 25 to 300 miles. Okay. On November 23rd, 1975, United States postal worker Timothy Shear went hunting in the area near the boundary line of Meagher and Judith Basin. Meagher? Something like that. Meagher. Meagher. I'm going to call it that, regardless. Let's go with that.
Yeah, Timothy didn't come out on the mount or come out of the mountains, and his friends notified law enforcement. The first 2 days focused on Meagher County, and it then switched to Judith Basin County because a hunter was found who claimed to have spoken with Timothy on November 23rd. Searchers did find some interesting pieces of possible evidence. They first located an orange hunting vest hanging on a tree, the same type Timothy wore. What is interesting about this is that it matches what was found during the search for Jimmy Rambone in Quebec, another missing hunter that was never found. He disappeared, and searchers found his orange vest hanging on a tree. Check out Missing 411 North America and beyond. Searchers on Timothy's SAR also located a lean-to shelter that appeared to be recently made. In several searches for missing people, ground teams have located these in the area where the person vanished. It has never been explained who or what had made them. Bloodhounds and helicopters from Maelstrom Air Force Base were used in an attempt to locate Tim. 2 days after Tim vanished, a severe snowstorm hit the area and dropped 2 feet of snow, inhibiting searcher efforts. Air and ground searchers failed to find any tracks or campfires that may have been made by Timothy. Bloodhounds failed to pick up the hunter's scent at any location. The search was terminated after 7 days. Yeah, I guess so. If you get 2 foot of snow in the mountains, man, you ain't going nowhere.
Nope.
You better have a snowmobile. Nothing happened on this case until July of 1976. That was he went missing in 75, and this was July. That was almost 6 months later. Nothing happened on this case in July 1976. Article in the Harvard Daily stated that 13-member Cascade County SAR team found Sherlock's remains in the upper tributary to the Smith River. Here is a quote from that article. The dismembered remains were found near where the postal workers' clothing, hunting knife, rifle, and binoculars were spotted earlier in the day. Eusterman said it appears that Sherlock's body had been torn apart by bears. It is extremely rare to find a body dismembered. It should be relatively easy to tell if a bear had attacked a body, and surprisingly, the SAR coordinator didn't offer a more definitive explanation on the dismemberment. I hope the Sherlock family had some minor relief knowing Tim had been located. Well, see, this is the thing. If you go now, here's the thing. Did you think the bears killed him?
I don't necessarily think the bears. I mean, that they might have tried to eat him after he was dead. I mean, we don't. I would have to see the body. You'd have to try to do the forensic to see what happened first.
Well, here's the thing. In November, I think the bears are hibernating in November.
Yeah, maybe he thawed out. Like, is that what you're going with? He thawed out, and they found him.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing I can think of is because the bears are hibernating until like springtime, probably, March or April at least. And so if you're in, he would have died, they wouldn't have tore him apart until, March, April, May, somewhere in that area time frame. He would have been frozen like, think about 2 foot of snow. He'd have been frozen like a popsicle.
Why do you want to put these thoughts in my head, Robert? You put all these thoughts in my head. I think it's ironic that people were looking for somebody named Sherlock when usually it's Sherlock that was looking for people when he was a detective. Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, it's S.
See, it's kind of like flip a story there.
Yeah, this is true. This is definitely true. Okay, we're going to jump ahead here. Let's pick another one. We're getting a lot of them read. Here's one in 1983. This one looks good. The guy is 26 years old. The point is I'm trying to pick out a bunch of different dates because it's just to show that not only old people or young kids, but if you're 26 years old, how'd you feel when you were 26 years old?
I felt like I was young. I guess I feel like I was a good 26-year-old. I don't.
Well, when you're 26, don't you feel like you're invincible? Like you
Yeah,
know everything. You're invincible. Nothing can hurt you. You're in your prime of your life, man. You're
still
like,
do.
yeah. But I mean, at 26, you're vibrant.
Yeah,
You're alert. Now, I mean, when I look at it and think, oh, 26, I guess nothing much has changed. But I'm tired. At 8 o'clock, I'm ready for bed.
you
I
might
need
have to
more sleep.
sleep now and pee more frequently now that you're older. Yes.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's okay. So here we go. This guy went. Tracy Cray, missing, February 13th, 1983, 4 p.m. Little Trail Creek, Gardiner. Yeah. Age at disappearance 26. Circumstances: weather, canines, point of separation, and he was a hunter. This could have happened in Wyoming or Montana based on the location. Specifically, it happened just east of Gardiner, Montana, on a little trail creek. I have consistently stated that elk hunters have a higher rate of disappearing and not being found than just about any other type of hunting. This mysterious case adds another. Wow, that's weird. So don't go elk hunting because you got a good chance of disappearing. Go with a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, take Rufus
Instant
along.
karma.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's. Oh yeah, but people take their dog, but they go missing too. In 1980, the Cray family moved from San Diego to Gardiner, Montana. Um, Les Cray had taught his boys how to hunt and had them in the woods at a young age, teaching them the proper way to manage safety, stalk game, and respect wildlife. In February of 1983, Tracy Cray was a 26-year-old married man with 2 kids. Tracy, his wife, Marcia, were tight with Tracy's parents, and they were members of the Mormon church. Tracy was considered by the family to be an outstanding hunter, knew the realities of being in the woods, and was a very smart outdoorsman. On Sunday, February 13th, 1983, the Cray family had late season elk tags and decided to head into the wilderness and see if they could fill them. Tracy, his dad, Les, and his brother, Les III, also drove to Little Trail Creek trailhead east of Gardiner. The trio walked 3/4 of a mile up a snow-packed trail, and then they reached a pine tree and decided to sit down. They each ate a snack when Tracy stood up and told the group he was going a bit higher up Niger Head. Niger Head Mountain. Yes, this was the name of the in multiple articles. In the mountain, and he wouldn't be long. Less and less, the third decided to turn around and went down the trail. As the afternoon sun started to disappear, Les began to worry. When there was a total darkness, he was scared. The family told reporters that Tracy was born to hunt. They followed that. Everyone believed he was a mountain goat, and nobody could lose him on the trail. After firing multiple rounds in the air, hiking the trail numerous times, and calling Tracy's name, Les made the call to the Park County Sheriff's Office and advised them that his son was missing. Almost from the beginning, the Cray's church ward sent dozens of members to the trailhead to help with the SAR. A helicopter from Utah responded, and the National Park Service sent 8 rangers. Deputies from throughout the area combed the countryside. Everyone believed this was going to be a quick search because the site wasn't complicated or threatening. The one item that changed the SARS from the beginning was explained in the November 9th, 1987 edition of the Montana Standard. When Tracy didn't return by 10 p.m., his family notified authorities. But that night it snowed and the winds blew, wiping out any tracks that might have been found. Search efforts the next day failed to find any trace of Cray, and the next few days the weather grew worse. The SAR was called off 2 times because of weather-related issues in the first 2 weeks. Searchers were not that concerned about the weather because Tracy knew the outdoors. He was wearing a blaze orange vest over a warm coat. cotton pants, long underwear, and red gaiters, brown rabbit fur gloves, moon boots. Everyone believed that the orange vest would be easy to spot, especially from the air. But apparently it was not. The hunter was carrying his rifle and a camera, items that would be unique to the environment. The Park County Sheriff had multiple planes in the air from the Civil Air Patrol. SARS had called in over 20 dog teams to pick up the scent. The search had been stopped multiple times, then officially closed down after 2 weeks, only to be started again by volunteers and church members. This April 23, 1983 edition of the Billings Gazette had details about the canines. Searchers on foot and in aircraft had found no trace of Cray, and tracking dogs failed to pick up the scent. There were additional searchers throughout the summer months with tremendous resources. Nothing was found. There were weekends in the summer of 1983 where 40 to 50 men who were members of Cray's church spent their entire weekend looking for Tracy. Nothing was ever located that indicated he was in that area. At one point, Les Cray purchased a mule to carry supplies deep into the backcountry. I'm always amazed at the commitment a family has to find their loved ones. I think it's in our DNA that we can't give it up. I've known several families that have pursued searches and leads for years. In September of 1983, Marcia Cray offered a $5,000 reward to anyone who could prove that her husband was deceased. She and her 2 kids couldn't get Social Security benefits and were without income. And if there was no proof that Tracy was dead, they couldn't get death certificate to get the needed family benefits. Nothing was found. In 1984, a Montana judge issued the Cray family a death certificate based on the sheriff's multitude of searches and opinions. Tracy was deceased. I found several articles written after Tracy vanished, reflecting the family's members' opinions about what might have happened. This July 1st, 1983 edition of the Billings Gazette had these statements from Miss Cray. Anything is possible, she said. We've even considered a UFO. There have been stories about unidentified flying objects picking up people, so there is a possibility this occurred. In Tracy's case, she said, perhaps Tracy stuck his head in a fall and walked out of the wilderness with amnesia, Miss Cray said. If there was ever a case that should be absolutely baffled readers, this is it. 5 years after Tracy vanished, there were articles in Montana papers talking about the case's mysterious nature. With hundreds of hikers and hunters that trampled the valley floor over the years, someone should have spotted the remains. Belt buckles, rifles, camera, these items stay in the environment for decades. The family did field its share of calls from psychics. I am always very skeptical of people calling victims' families. I know of too many incidents where some of them were vultures asking for money. This happened in the Jared and Terridito case. One psychic that the family described gave them information which was almost like a riddle. They were told that if Tracy could stand up, he would interfere with a microwave repeater. These are on many mountain tops. They claimed that he was overlooking a valley on the south side of the mountain. Volunteers spent days checking all of these leads. They led to nothing. The Park County Sheriff was interviewed many times about the incident and never had a good explanation to why nothing had been located. I can even tell you that in this disappearance, the sheriff threw everything at the mountain, trying to get it to reveal where Tracy was located. I counted over 45 search days and involved government authorities. That is a lot. There are probably over 90 SARS days when you consider friends, relatives, and church members. After this event, articles stated that Cray's family still made regular treks up the mountain looking for the remnants of their son. I can't imagine the anxiety, depression, and followed the Crays the years of the disappearance. Tracy Cray was never found. Wow. So, what do you think of that?
It's hard telling what happened in that situation. I don't know what I think.
Yeah.
Could be very UFO, could be it. Who knows?
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine, after you do all that stuff, it's, how should I say it? You search and you search and you search and the guy is young. He's the best at what he does. and he's loved by everybody, and then he disappears, and nobody finds his gun, his camera, nobody finds any clothes.
And he knows
nothing.
the area. Yeah.
Weird, huh?
Yep, knows the area. So you think, he would know to stay in certain places that were well hunted, probably. So
yeah,
who knows why this cat disappeared?
Yeah, you think might have been a portal?
I mean, why not?
Or yeah,
happy thoughts.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes any sense. He either got beamed up, or he walked through a portal and literally disappeared into a different time or different zone or something, because to be that much gone that fast just baffles everybody. Baffle me. Anyway, can you believe it? We did a whole hour already.
That's awesome, Robert V.
And I still haven't lost my grin.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
But you're learning. I mean, you're learning different things about it. It'll take a few times for you to get used to it, and then it'll be old stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if I got to change my settings or something. But anyway,
just the time you get used to it. Yeah, as soon as you get used to it, they'll change something and make something else better, and you'll have to get used to that.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. So, okay, well, with that, remember, everybody, be the frequency you want. David, you got anything last words to say before we get going here?
No.
Okay. Now you're free.
I'm good. Thank you very much. Love you all. I'm glad to spend time with y'all. All
right. Okay, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Remember, be the frequency you want to receive. I love you all. Until we have another show. See you then.